Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a Bitcoin video. I just want to give you a little update on the medium-term, short-term price action, and also looking into the fact that the halving is just 3 days from now. It's coming very, very close, and so a lot of people are kind of paying attention to Bitcoin again. Obviously, throughout the last month or so, in fact, more than that, about a month and a half, Bitcoin's been moving sideways quite extensively, and so people have kind of been losing track or not really paying as much attention as perhaps they should be paying to Bitcoin. But now the halving's approaching. It's obviously a macro event, which historically has led to macro bull markets on Bitcoin. People are coming back, and they're seeing that, upon their return back to the market, they're looking at Bitcoin and they're looking at this structure and they're thinking, this is not very good right now, right? They see an ascending wedge formation's just broken down. We made our video 2 days ago upon the breakdown. We've also broken down from this 12-hourly chart RSI formation. Not only that, but we've actually come downwards and with resistance support flipped that RSI line and headed downwards once again, which is a very bearish thing to be doing there. Now, right now, the lifeline for Bitcoin is currently sitting at this pink level right here. That's 61.2K. And if we flip to the monthly chart, just quickly flip to the monthly chart here and ignore all the other lines, let's actually delete them. We can see that 61.2K, this pink line right here, which I'm going to draw in right now, is actually the monthly candle close from 2021's bull market. The highest ever monthly candle close we saw at that point. We came up, we rejected from it here in February. We've finally gotten back above it. And if we zoom back into the short term once again, we can see that is the exact level that we're testing for support right now. That's the exact level we held for support on multiple occasions here. But obviously, there's only so many times the support level can be retested without it breaking. And I think that this monthly level right now, quite frankly, is at risk. When I look at Bitcoin right now, I see the ascending wedge breakdown. I see this level being tested relentlessly over and over and over again, and each bounce becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. I see the 12-hourly chart RSI triangle formation being a resistance support flipped. I look at the weekly chart, and the daily chart, I should say, and I see the horizontal channel we formed in the daily chart, the consolidative structure, breaking to the downside, and another resistance support flip. So not only did we resistance support flip the 12-hourly chart RSI triangle, we also did the same thing with daily chart horizontal channel formation. That's obviously bearish as well. Then I flip to the weekly chart and I see that our weekly candle level, our very, very important weekly candle level, this red line on the screen right here, which was the 2021 all-time high. I see that level, which was previously rejected from and then held for support, has been dropped once again. We've lost that level once again. Pretty brutal stuff. And then I look at the weekly chart RSI, and upon losing that level, we see that Bitcoin has actually lost its weekly chart ascending wedge formation, and it's plummeting towards a lower support line here on the weekly chart RSI. I look at all these things that are occurring simultaneously. Another thing, right? I look at the USDT dominance chart. I look at this chart, which shows, whenever this moves upwards, Bitcoin goes downwards. Whenever this moves downwards, Bitcoin goes upwards. That's how it works, right? Because if people deploying USDT, therefore USDT dominance diminishes. If they're stacking USDT, therefore it rises. People stack USDT when the market goes downwards because they're selling. So obviously this market bouncing from an 8-year support line, or this USDT dominance chart bouncing from an 8-year support line, is not exactly a good sign, especially with a descending descending channel formation there. I look at all these things, right, that I've just gone on a 3-minute rant about, and I just see bad sign after bad sign after bad sign, but still, all of these things are compounded into medium-term and short-term charts. I don't see any macro threats. What I actually see is Bitcoin in a very decent macro position. And we zoom out in the Bitcoin chart and we see that Bitcoin here has had basically a year straight, and I've said this over and over again, I'll continue to say it because it remains to be true, a year straight, essentially, of pretty much only upside price action with no significant corrections. Right now, we're seeing basically the first significant correction that we've seen on Bitcoin in a long time. Of course, we saw one quickly here in January, but it lasted literally less than a week, okay? We saw corrective periods over here throughout this 9-month period last year, but those were sideways corrective periods. We didn't actually drop below any major macro support zones. Right now, what I'm seeing is Bitcoin really testing 61.1K, a major macro support zone, but we haven't even dropped that yet. Everything we're seeing right now on Bitcoin is a healthy correction in a macro upwards trend, and there's no real reason to think otherwise. But, these medium-term, short-term indicators are flashing that Bitcoin is in bad position here. It's in a crisis mode. It's going to go downwards further. So what do I think is going to happen on Bitcoin? I'll tell you right now, here's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin utilizing these charts. I'm seeing Bitcoin in a bad position on a medium term, short term. There's no doubt about that. You can't look at these charts. I don't think anyone does, really. You can't look at these charts, these constant retests of 61k, these in some sort of like head and shoulders formation or whatever it may be. You look at the resistance support flips after breakdowns from major structures in the 12 hourly chart RSI, not only the 12 hourly chart RSI, but also on the daily chart, and then a breakdown from a weekly wedge formation on the RSI and the weekly chart stemming back from September 2023. There's no way you can look at these charts and think, oh yeah, this is bullish. There's just no possible way you can do that. So obviously you need to be expecting lower prices, okay? And the lower prices can't be where we are right now. That can't be the end of it, because all the indicators, and yes, they are momentum indicators, but all of them still are far away from support. So for example, this level right here, this is a monthly candle support zone. This is not a strong short-term level. We look at the weekly chart RSI, for example. The weekly chart RSI, which has been a phenomenal predictor of Bitcoin bottoming out and topping out price action, specifically bottoming out price action since June 2022, is in the middle between support and resistance. It is in a free fall right now. So it's very unlikely, in my opinion, that the bottom is actually in here. I don't think the bottom of this medium-term move is in. I think the Bitcoin needs to go lower, but I don't think it needs to go much lower, right? And when I look at the weekly chart, for example, and I look at the volume profile on the weekly chart, so this is the macro charts on Bitcoin, where is the next major spike in volume on the volume profile? Where is the next major spike in support? It's sitting at around 57k. Around 57k to 57.5k, somewhere in that region. We see a massive spike in the volume profile where we see historical support, a structured support zone being built. We also see the bull market support band, which is one of the most fundamental indicators of a Bitcoin bull market. For example, in 2017, we didn't break it down once. Every single retest, every single correction in 2017 during the bull market found support on the bull market support band. Very important level. Everyone knows about this. Benjamin Cohen talks about it relentlessly. That's going to be lining up with 57k as well in just a couple of weeks. So 57k is becoming a very well-rounded, structured support zone, bolstered by the Gaussian channel. Bolstered by the bull market support band, and it's also the nearest level below 61.1k. And if we look at the weekly chart and we start to think, well, okay, weekly chart RSI is in a free fall. It's a little bit away from support still, but it's not too far away. Where would that support be met? Where would we reach that support zone? Probably at around 57k is where we reach that support zone here. We look at, for example, this line, which is a very, very important line. Okay, this line stems backwards all the way from 2011 on Bitcoin. In fact, this singular line here encompasses basically the entirety of Bitcoin's price action, okay, back from 2011. We see that you can see constant tests of this line on the 2-week chart. Very, very strong foundational line here. It's not perfect. Obviously, you're not going to have a line being perfect after so many years, 13 years, but you do see it's very well respected, especially on the closes over and over and over again. And what we actually see is that that line is also sitting at around 57k. So we have the bull market support band sitting at 57k. We have the volume profile sitting at 57k, and we have the 13-year long support line on Bitcoin sitting at 57k. And the medium-term charts and short-term charts are calling for lower prices. So what's the likely scenario there? Well, the likely scenario is Bitcoin goes down to 57k. All right, that's the likely scenario. Now, with that said, the halving's in 3 days. Okay. And although the halving historically has been a bit of a non-event, right? Short term, the halving hasn't really led to much historically. This time it could be different. Okay, but we've seen deviations so far in this cycle. We've seen Bitcoin moving upwards higher than expected, earlier than expected. That's a fact. Okay, we've broken all-time highs quicker from any Bitcoin macro bottom than we've ever done before. So the halving's in 3 days and 14 hours, and so maybe we do see a short-term reaction from the halving. Maybe we do see that being a pump the news event. Who knows? We don't know. There's just no way to know anything about that. But right now, if we're excluding the halving from the equation, which is we shouldn't be doing, by the way, as I said, there's a reason why I'm having an element of doubt here. That halving's in 3 days. That could be people could react to that, and there could be short-term price movements that distort the TA based on that. We could pump upwards 10k in the halving. I don't know what's going to happen. Historically, nothing like that's happened. But if we just go ahead, because the reason why I'm just ignoring it is because we don't know what's going to happen with this event. So there's no point even speculating about it. It's just worth knowing that it's coming and worth having a degree of uncertainty, so you don't just, you don't over leverage yourself and then get wrecked if something happens. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is this event, we don't know what's going to happen with it. It's worth keeping in mind so we don't do anything stupid and over leverage ourselves in the market. But based on everything we do know about, which is the TA, at the moment, the TA is not looking great. The medium-term TA is saying 57K is the go, basically. So 57K, I will say, is the go. But I will also say that, again, that halving could distort things. And if we do, on Bitcoin, get back above the $69,000 support resistance level, 57K is no longer a go. So our invalidation zone really is 69K. If Bitcoin comes upwards, pumps above 69K, there would be no reason anymore, in my opinion, to think that 57K will be on the way. So basically what I'm saying to you is this: 57K unless 69K. All right, so 57K is the next target unless 69K happens. And the scenario in which 69K plays out would likely be due to an unpredictable short-term reaction to the halving, in which case we can't be mad if that occurs. We can't be mad if we're incorrect there, because you can't predict unpredictable. That's just the reality. So, but yeah, right now, I'll tell you right now, medium-term, short-term charts on Bitcoin are looking good. The macro is still incredibly strong. There's been no damage at all to the macro structure. The bull market is still intact, but I do see right now that Bitcoin is still looking to go a little bit lower. That's my personal opinion on charts right now. Yeah, and hopefully we don't see any distortions due to unpredictable events. So if 69K is breached, this is going to be invalidated. If 69K is breached, we're going to new all-time highs. But right now, it's not breached. And so we really need to be considering that 57K level as a potential bottom. I will say also that if you're looking to jump into short positions, you don't just do that kind of thing blindly. Even though the likely scenario is we go down, you don't just jump into a short position. You wait for a validation of a breakdown. You wait for this 61.2K level to actually break. You see a resistance support flip. You see a volume surge in the breakdown. Then you enter. I don't like people who... when people, I should say, short the market or long the market in just any period of time. No. It doesn't matter what you think about the market. It doesn't matter if you think the market's going down. You need to wait for actual validation. Right now, we are not in an active breakdown on the short-term charts. So it's very important to wait for those validations. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I hope I gave you a little bit of insight into Bitcoin right now. Yeah, of course, my message here today definitely leaned bearish on short term, but I am still macro bullish, and I think it does offer a bit of reassurance as well, because 57K is really not a level that we should be fearing that much, in my opinion, at all. Guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please check out the BingX and BitGet exchanges. These are the referred exchanges for this YouTube channel. My referral links are down below for 15% trading fee discounts. BingX is global, and BitGet is global minus the USA. So take your pick. Referral links for trading fee discounts. You can save thousands there. Neither of them have been hacked. Get on a good exchange. Use my links below. Check out the Crypto Academy. Become a Trader 10-unit course. We'll teach you everything you need to know about trading, and we've also got a bull market sale currently, so there's no better time to take advantage of that and educate yourself on the financial markets, especially crypto market, hence the name. And then if we're moving into the VIP group on Telegram, we can see the VIP group on Telegram is my altcoin trading signal group. I give altcoin trading signals 3 to 4 times a week, or I should say 4 times a week. And we've got a 77% win rate with a very nice track record there. Publicly accessible, 18 months of trading data. Check it all out. Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you tomorrow with an update.